All right, I think it's 3 p.m. and we have a lot of participants here, a lot of old folks, new faces, old faces. Good to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. How is it going? Okay, we'll wait for another 2 more minutes and then we'll get started because we just have 60 minutes on the clock. Meanwhile, how is Saturday going on for you guys? Going good? Yeah, all good. Yeah, good for us as well. Exciting times ahead. Bright sunny day for me as well. Okay. Okay, then I think, all right, let's get going. Okay. Um, all right. Hello and welcome everyone to today's data science career workshop, or in a way, I would say a workshop where it's an integral part of Learn, Earn, and Return, the program we offer at AlmaBetter. We conduct these sessions every other week where we invite folks from the community to connect with the enthusiasts like you guys, exploring what the data science world looks like, what the technology world looks like in today's scenario. And we look around to, it's a very good opportunity for you guys and young learners like you all to seek and answer all your burning questions to our industry experts. So the goal is to leave every episode with tips and tricks with from the experts, and to leave you with actionable recommendations to help you enter and create a good roadmap in the world of technology and further improve your skills to achieve those goals in your longer run. So I'm your host, Ekta Maheshwari. I'm a lead data scientist with Accenture Baltics. It's an integral part of Europe where we help clients embrace new sustainable solutions around today's data-driven business world. Along this, I am a data science educator at AlmaBetter, where we teach data science and coach data enthusiasts to build a career in the world of data and technology. We have recently started a new course in web development to equip yourself to the world of Web3, which will be a part of later in the session, which we'll discuss in the later session. Okay, so yeah, I think the agenda is nowadays we're witnessing so many upcoming trends. You know, the blockchain, cybersecurity, machine learning, deep learning, cloud computing, data science, DevOps, AI ops. Like there's so many technologies to choose from, right? So today's session is how we decide which technology out of all of these would be beneficial to you as an individual, as a for a longer period of run in your career. Yeah. So, that being said, let's welcome our guest for today and a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Alok Anand. Hey, Alok, how is your day going?
Ekta, hi. It's going great. And thank you, Ekta, for having me here. All right.
Yeah,
I understand lately since AlmaBetter has launched this Web3 program, my DM is filled with this question, what to choose, data science or Web3. And I really feel that it's important to address this question as Web3 as a term is gaining a lot of popularity. And that too after Facebook changed its name to Meta, launched Metaverse, and there were a lot of talk around what all things are going to be in Metaverse, what is the role of blockchain there. And a lot of people are wondering what this is and what they should choose as a career. And especially for fresher who want to pursue tech roles, they have a lot of questions around it.
right. So, to all our learners and attendees who might be wondering who this amazing guy is, Alok is the co founder and chief of data science with AlmaBetter. Earlier, he had been associated with Blackbuck, American Express as their expert in their data science field. He has immense hands-on experience in the field of analytics, leading diverse teams, and working on product development and deployment in the domain. So he overall, I think it would be a good opportunity to latch on this guy and understand his immense experience over across working for early stage startups, for Fortune 50 organization, and the way he's delivered the state of art MLOps products. So great to have you here, Alok. We are really excited to have a conversation with you today.
Yeah. Thank you, Ekta, again for such a great introduction. And thank you everyone for joining in. I really
Yeah,
hope that this session is going to be informative for you guys. Yeah.
right.
Right.
Right. So, Alok, for the majority of people here who've joined in, and for me, Web3 sounds like one more buzzword. You used the world of technology and the world of internet heading towards. So, it's another, I would say, a buzzword which people are either using to promote crypto or get a piece of hype. For others, it's a decentralized web application. Or in layman terms, I would say, a network of people who control their own slice of internet, right? So, can you throw some light for us as in what exactly is Web3
Right,
and
right.
where did it come from? I think my follow-up question is where did it come from?
Definitely. So I think, yes, before we get into Web3, let's discuss what is Web1, what is Web2, and then it will be easier for us to understand Web3. So
Sure.
I would say Web 1.2 was the introduction of the internet, and it was mostly designed to be more consumer focused. Uh, Content was static. So I'll give an example. So internet user at that point of time, that period during 1989, 1990, till 1995, web was used for email and news reading mostly. So you can imagine kind of static page which you can interact with, kind of you are interacting with New York Times or Economics Times or the Hindu, to make it more relevant.
Right.
So that is a static page which you are interacting with. And creators were mostly scientists, lecturers, and those contents came from the server file system. There was a table, there was a database which was owned by a company, and all those data were coming from there itself. And you can just interact in 1D. You can just interact there. You can just read all those content, right? And then in 1999 around, Web 2.0 concept came in when dot-com boom happened, right?
Right.
So Web 2.0 is the internet we know and use today, which is more interactive, contains more user-generated content, and bridges social connectivity. So in 1.0, there was this lag that you cannot connect with any person, right? You just interact with the static pages, right? But now later on, it was figured out that you can connect with people, you can discuss with them, you can talk about the research and everything, right? And it started with that use case itself, that you want to discuss your research with your peers, with fellow scientists in different countries, right?
Right. Hmm.
And then the web moved toward a system that encouraged users to create, share content, and promote collaboration, right? And this
Correct.
paradigm shift improved the way we assessed and consumed content, right? And then this advancement of Web 2.0 created opportunity for the development of key innovators like social media platforms, mobile phones, mobile internet, and also we see tech giants like Meta, Facebook, Twitter, Google, Airbnb became dominant powers in the business world today, and they all work in Web 2.0 itself, right? So if I talk about the advantages of 2.0 over 1.0, so 2.0 helped users to share opinions, comments, and thought on various content. It's not like you're just interacting with one static content. Rather, you can just create one post and post it on LinkedIn or on Facebook. That content you can post on images, you can share it on Instagram. So there were more users sharing opinions, comments, and adding content to the internet, right? Second was it helped, I would say, the world feels smaller through connection and collaboration. So it was really difficult earlier. These kind of interaction, you are there in Baltics, right? You are there in Europe, and we are interacting right now. So it was very difficult during 1.0, but in 2.0, these all things we were able to achieve, right? And these are problems we were able to solve. But then again, with 2.0, definitely there were some advantages. But on top of it, there are disadvantages as well. Because when you are having conversation, when you are adding content to the internet, you would want control over what you want to share publicly, right? If
Right.
you're having chat with anybody, it's really important that you don't want to share that chat publicly, right? You want to limit the users who can look at your chat. Now, if that data is being owned by any organization, they can access your data and they can utilize it. They can utilize that data for their own advantages, right? And that was the major concern. So internet as we know today is more or less broken. If I talk about the trust issues, right? So our personal data that is not controlled by us. Every time we use the internet, our data is stored and managed by a central server or a central company like Facebook, Twitter, and sent or received by a client, like whatever we accept.
Correct.
Right? And over the years, like we have heard allegations about Facebook using our data for things we have no knowledge of, right? For election, for campaigns, they are using our data, right? And we have not given them this permission. Rather, they are just using it because they control the data, right? And
Correct.
that's why, like with this recurring breach in servers, data are not safe, and this raises issue of trust, right? So in Web 2.0, I would say there is a huge issue of trust, which led to this Web 3.0 concept. So if I
But
talk
I would
about,
like to, right, before we head towards Web3, so you mentioned that, say, you have one-on-one conversation with your friend or something, and you would not want your data to go out. But let's take an example of, say, WhatsApp. Aren't they already promising us that your data is encrypted? Nobody is actually, so even if they own the data, or even if they know there is a conversation between person A to person B, it's still encrypted in the data set. So isn't that already been conquered in some way in Web 2?
yes, more or less companies are trying to solve this. See, there is an issue, and companies are trying to solve this issue. Like WhatsApp, they are encrypting this. But I would say not all companies are doing this, right? You cannot say this with Telegram that they are doing the same.
Hmm.
Right? They have secret chat feature, they have all those features. But then again, there's a feature where if you are doing chat, if you're connecting with people, you are sharing your data. And moreover, let's not go into chat. There is one example definitely of WhatsApp, but let's say you are searching anything on Google, right? There, all your history, all your data, your activity, your interest, your knowledge graph, everything is going to Google, and they are using it for their benefit, as well as they are giving you better product as well.
Right. So
So that,
isn't that a matter of time that, eventually all the companies would want to do that, because everybody is facing, and every owner of these companies are being challenged with, why don't you, encrypt our data? Where's the data security, and all of those challenges being thrown at, say, be it anybody, be it Mark Zuckerberg or anybody for that matter. So isn't that just a matter of time that all these companies would start doing it?
yes. So what happened? I'll give you an example. Uh, Before this breach happened, there were a lot of breaches happened in Facebook, which was mentioned right earlier. And then Mark Zuckerberg, he mentioned that we are going to keep it safe. We are not using your data for any different use cases. He promised that. But then
Right.
again, figured out that we got from news that they are doing this for no reason, right?
Hmm.
See, as long as there is a central authority who is using it, who is controlling it, definitely you cannot just take their words, because maybe what they are showing, they might not be implementing in their company, right? And that is not how
Right.
they are managing their data, right?
Right. I
So
think that is exactly, yeah, that is exactly what we saw in the documentary also on social network. That I agree. Like, however encryption or security might be, I think it's end of the day, it's being stored by a central owner.
correct. So that was the major concern with Web 2.2. Data was being handled by one central authority, right? It
Right.
was centralized. Now in Web 3.0, data is decentralized. Your data will lie on thousands of servers, thousands of you can say tables, databases. To make it very simple, right? It will lie on thousands of computers. It is decentralized, right? And it will be stored in a type of blocks, and there will be chains. I just want to make it simpler so that everyone needs to understand. And the first thing is, if it is decentralized, then there is like it has like it's difficult to get hacked. uh, Users have more control over data, right? If it's not centralized, then again, if it, like, if in case of, let's say, if I give you an example, if data is decentralized, then you have this capability. Okay, I want to just share these much amount of data with users, right?
Okay.
So in that case, this is going to be a next level thing. If you don't want to share your data with any organization, you have that control. If you don't want that my data should not be used in this for this ad, you can control those things, right? Because
Okay.
if it is decentralized, in that case, there will be one protocol all computers will be following, right? There are different companies, they have their own protocols, rules, and regulations, right? But if it is decentralized, your data is decentralized, then those all computers will follow the same rule.
So when you say decentralized, Alok, do you mean like you mentioned that the data is being stored on multiple computers
Correct.
across, say, the globe? So is
Correct.
it the same data that is being stored? Are we just duplicating data, or is it a part of data set? Say, the AB is stored in computer one, BC is stored in computer B. How is it? Like, I know
Exactly.
decentralization is the key word around blockchain, and we have been hearing a lot, but it's just so much confusion. So what exactly is
Exactly.
decentralization?
Exactly. So yes, decentralized is kind of see there is in let's discuss around what is centralization, right? So let's take a case of Twitter, right? All
Okay.
your tweets, all your comments, your likes, dislikes, everything uh, that everything is stored in one database, in one table kind of thing. You can just imagine, right? There is
Okay,
one
one data lake. I imagine a
data
data
lake,
lake.
exactly. One
Okay.
data lake, everything is stored there, right?
Okay.
Now, all the rules, regularization, what any data scientist in Twitter, what they want to access, that all rules and regulation that will be controlled by Twitter. If they want to give you access of all the phone numbers or email IDs, data scientists can access it, right? But
Right.
in decentralization, what happens now? One entity is not controlling it. That means one Twitter is not writing the rules and regulations, right? All the rules and regulations that is being now handled by group of people, right? Kind of
Hmm.
like democracy, group of people, they are handling this whole data. And based on that rules, you have agreed to that. Okay, these all rules are there. Data will be decentralized. Data will be kept on different computers. Now, as you mentioned, in decentralization, whether there will be a duplication of data, right?
Right.
AB data is stored in one computer and BC will be stored in different one, right? Then again, this is called distributing, right? Definitely, you will distribute
Right.
data so that let's say out of 1,000, if 100 computers that is not working, so it does not mean that those 1,000 computers, whatever data we stored there, that should get lost, right? So
Right.
duplication will always be there. Right now, also in Twitter, if they are showing this data, they are following this distributed system. But all those distributed systems are present with Twitter itself. So that distribution will
Okay.
always happen in blockchain. Of course, all those computers will have distributed data. If any server goes down, you will be able to access your data in that case. But then again, if it is decentralized, that means who owns it, right? Twitter,
Okay.
one central authority, he is not owning it. That company is not owning it. Rather, this whole set of people, a group of people, they are owning this, right? You as a user, you are controlling your data, right?
Right. Very nice analogy drawn there, I think, with respect to democracy of data. I think there is no owner to it. Although, like, this idea looks very dreamy, and is it implementation realistic enough? Like, will it only remain in the dreams of that should be implemented, or do you think it's actually happening in the mainstream?
Yeah, definitely. It has started with financial systems. See, you see a lot of cryptocurrency that is already that has already started. Now, on top,
Right.
when you start, if you search about it, there are a lot of decentralized apps that has come across. Like there is a decentralized YouTube, and there is like parallel to everything which we use today in 2.0 world, right? So definitely, right now companies are more reluctant to do this, right? But later on, companies will also start using this technology, right? So there is one more point here. User are able to control the uses of your data and can earn from it, right? That is one more concept of Web 3.0. So let's say if Twitter is giving you control of the data, right? Then in that case, they have to put it on decentralized system, and they have to share like what all data they are storing about you. Okay,
Okay.
that
So
is
the
that
main
is concept of public blockchain and private blockchain. right? So companies
Okay.
also implement their private blockchain. There is a public blockchain like cryptocurrencies. There will be like, let's say if AlmaBetter tomorrow we start our own coin system for our community, that will be kind of private blockchain where authority and the user who is creating any content, that is well mapped and traceability is there, right?
Right.
This private blockchain will be adopted by companies. I think in near future, within 2-3 years, you will see a lot of companies they will be using it. Maybe after this cryptocurrency news agencies, they will start doing this to prevent all these fake news and everything. But
Right.
definitely
Exactly.
public blockchain, it will be difficult to get into the market because again, everyone wants to store the data because this whole century and coming forward, data is going to be the money, right? That is going to be the oil. So everyone wants to control
Right.
it. They don't want to go to public blockchain, rather they want to be in private blockchain. They want to create this system where they are enabling users to control their data, but then again they want to keep the data with them.
Right. So what I gather is from our conversation is that you've been using blockchain and Web3 interchangeably. So can we safely assume that it is almost similar? Is it equivalent?
Yes. So Web 3.0 will run on blockchain technologies.
Okay.
So blockchain technology is nothing but your data is being stored in blocks, and there is a chain which is linked to all blocks. So this one block will be linked to the another block. So if you change second block, you have to change block one as well. So all blocks are linked to each other, so that if you break one block, you like easily it can be figured out which block has been broken, and security issues and everything that can be removed from there. That is blockchain. And then Web 3.0 will use the technology of this blockchain distribution of data in the blockchain system.
So what I understand is the main point is there is no single authority that takes responsibility for the data. Like there are no, but again, do you not think there are no laws or regulations to define what a program or a content might be? Do you not think it will be a huge headache, to control it and say, in cases of scam content or harassment, who will be responsible? As in the regulation is far away from technologies, right? So it will just make the scammers find out new ways to how to abuse the technology.
Definitely.
So
If you give power to users, right, and
right,
rather I would say human, every human is different, and definitely there is a positive, negative, everything is there in the society, right? And this is
absolutely.
one of the biggest disadvantages of Web 3.0. Like it will be more difficult to manage hate speech, cyberbullying, misinformation. This will be very difficult to manage in that case, right? And also like regulation enforcement of laws will be difficult to control from the government point of view, I'm saying.
Right, right. So again, Web3 blockchain interchangeably used. There is another keyword that we have usually heard is metaverse. So how is Web3 metaverse? Are they different? Do they mean same or do they differ? And
Mm.
what do they actually mean for our future of internet?
Yes, it's a very interesting question, because I have heard a lot of people using Web 3.0 and the metaverse interchangeably, but I would say they aren't the same thing, right? So Web 3.0 is mainly about who will own and control tomorrow's internet or the data, right? And
Okay.
metaverse centers around how users will experience the internet of the future. Okay. So I'll give an example. So what metaverse is? Everyone here knows Marvel Universe, right?
Right.
There is a virtual universe, and you see all the characters there. There are a lot of planets and everything. Now,
Yeah, and we have our own favorites as well. Our own favorite superheroes also.
right.
Okay.
Now, just think that you want to be in that virtual universe.
Hmm.
There is a virtual universe created. Everything is there designed maybe as per your interest, right? And then if you get in that universe, that is different from the current one, the real one, right? That is a virtual universe where you are getting into, and everything what you are doing in this universe, you should be able to do that. You should be able to do all these things there as well. So that is what
Right.
metaverse is. It's a virtual universe which we want to create, right? So see, as internet will grow, more and more people will just sit here and try to experience everything around the world, or just be in the virtual world, right? Because you must have seen, like in Google Maps, there is a Google Earth feature. You can just go there and maybe you can walk around the street of Burj Khalifa.
Right, because we all want to. There is no
Exactly.
because we just want to escape the reality and we want to explore another one. Just sitting in the right in my own room.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, just imagine right now, we have lived in multiple eras, right? We have lived in pre-internet, then post-internet, and then we are hearing all these Web 3.2 immersive thing. For us, it is important to touch thing, right? When we touch anything, then we say that we have felt it, right? I have
Correct.
experienced it. But imagine after 4 or 5 years, or Gen Zs, I would say, they have experienced everything from the internet itself, right? And they are comfortable. If you will tell them just wear a VR, and then through that you can experience everything, you can experience a virtual world, they will be happy about it. So
Right.
that is what multiverse is, right? Multiverse is not Web 3.2. Multiverse is kind of, or metaverse, you can say. Metaverse is a virtual universe that will exist where you can interact in a more immersive manner, right?
Okay.
The
So
for digital avatars, all these things you can do there, right? So now I'll discuss around how Web3 and metaverse go hand in hand, right?
okay.
So
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to know.
yeah,
Because both are future of internet. Both seems like so promising and dreamy worlds, but how are they like then interrelated?
right, right. So now, if we want this, let's say there is a virtual world, and if we want this virtual world to function, we have to sort out commerce around it, right? If you want to go there, if you want to buy a new avatar, you have to buy something, right? You have to pay some amount. So there has to be, somehow we have to sort out the commerce similar to our world. It, like, our world will not function if we don't have some sort of currency system, and you are not able to sell or buy something, right? This whole world will crumble, because it
For
works
sure.
incentive to make the world better, or sometimes worse as well. But yes, what I believe, there is more good than bad. Okay, so yes, so I would say for any universe or for any world or system to prosper, we have to set up some commerce around it. We have to set up some currency around it, right? Finances. You want to buy something, you can buy it. Someone can sell it as well, right? So right now, but problem with our world, and see, there is a VR system. Everything is already there in Web 2.0 as well, right? But the problem is, there is a whole lot of difficulty you are going to face if you implement in Web 2.0 this whole multi-universe thing or metaverse thing, right? Because our world is now controlled by borders, right? And different rules and regulations are there, right? If you want to send or transfer any money from this country to a different country, from India to Europe, there are a lot of authorization which you have to, it has to pass through.
Correct.
When you are on internet, it's very easy to mask your country, your location, and all those things. So how you're going to identify all these things, how you're going to transfer all them out? PayPal, it started, but then again, there are a lot of disadvantages of PayPal as well. I'm not going to go into that. But yes,
Yeah.
in metaverse, if I talk about how Web3 has come in, that has come in through the cryptocurrencies, right? So that's where cryptocurrency is not owned by any country. It is decentralized. It is owned by people itself, right? So there is no concept of any border or any boundary, right? No rules, and it has own rules and regulation, right? So cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, etc., like will be used to do transaction in metaverse, and cryptocurrencies are working on Web3 technologies or blockchain technologies, I would say. So that's the synergy between Web3 and metaverse, and that's how like blockchain technology is getting into metaverse. Now, I would clear one more thing. So Facebook has launched this metaverse, right? It is owned by Facebook, and it is a centralized system. It's not a blockchain technology, but it does not mean that you cannot have a metaverse on a decentralized system, right? There is an example of
Okay.
Decentraland, if I'm not wrong. That is one website which is kind of a replica of metaverse, right? But not owned by any company. Rather, it's on a blockchain technology.
Interesting. So I would say over the period of time, you've been mentioning like DTube, YouTube that is centralized, DLAN. So what is like the future? Do you see any use cases coming soon, very, or do you think it's some time, it's going to take some time? Because overall, like if we say, for starters, it's just too much, too many technologies involved, right? So again, how far do you think the implementation of blockchain is going to be there? What's the progression with respect to overall
So I would
jobs?
say it's not too far because people have started working on it. And you can see Polygon is a big success. They have created this marketplace and you can create decentralized app and put it on their marketplace, right?
Hmm.
And see, people are paranoid about their data. And this we are seeing for past 4 5 years, right? They have they have starting questioning over where my data is, how my data is being used, all these things. So companies definitely they would want to go into this field so that they again gain the trust of users, right? So for
Right.
I would say within 5 to 10 years, uh, this whole blockchain technology, which will be deeply rooted in our system, right? But then again, within 1 or 2 years, I think a lot of companies will start asking for these skills, Web3 skills, Solidity, or all the stock technology which is being used to create decentralized apps.
So, but Alok, theoretically and as well as some examples practically that we've seen, the web applications, any web application can be built on Web3 stack, right? Like there is cryptocurrency, blockchain, all of these sound great. But what is the point to convert your business into a decentralized application? Like, is it just equal to give away all your assets for no reason? I understand that you mentioned there is a private blockchain and a public blockchain, but if you could throw some understanding of why everyone has to do it, like for example, banks, you mentioned financial institutions have been doing it. So too many people are working in the financial industry and making their life on it. They and suddenly they have to give up their job and business. Like I understand blockchain and getting into this world of decentralization might be powerful and perspective, but will it take some time to find the best use of it, or why would I want to do it in the first place?
Okay, so I would say the only reason banks and financial institutions they are not adopting it because there is a complication in rules and regulation. Right? But on top of it, see, after all, no business will sustain if users are not using it. So I will give you an example. There is a web Brave browser, right? What they do,
Hmm.
they let your data, like you can control your data there, and they are going to pay you if you do any search and what based on your activity. And people have
Okay.
started moving out from Chrome to that browser. Although Chrome is or Google is providing a lot of features and they have excellent product, but because of this issue, users are moving out from Google to that product. Now you can imagine if Google starts seeing this declining, they will definitely have to adopt this technology, right? They have to give somehow, they have to solve this issue because after all, users, they have to be there to sustain your business. Otherwise, it will be impossible to do, right? So you cannot
Correct.
click here and say, even if blockchain is there, even if decentralization is happening, I'll just go by this rule. I'll just own the data, right? You have to find out some middle ground around it, and you have to solve this issue to gain the trust of your users. Right. So to answer the
Right.
question specifically, I think within 1 or 2 years, I really feel this is going to spin up, and a lot of companies they are going to get into this blockchain technology. Maybe they will be more into private blockchain, right?
Right.
But definitely they are going to implement this. And each country, all countries will have this kind of regulation or regulation rules and regulation around how this whole cryptocurrencies will be used. Everything will be sorted out. Right now it's a lot of confusion around it,
Right.
like in India itself, in last budget we saw a lot of news around cryptocurrencies, how they want to regulate it, they want to put tax on it. So a lot
Tax
of,
on it. Right.
right? So countries, they themselves want to understand this first, right? What will be the user impact, how should be the rules and regulation, because it's not an easy thing to do. Any technology, if that comes in picture, it comes with lot of complications, right? When internet started, there were a lot of questions around it, right? When Web3 will start, there will be a lot of questions, a lot of changes will happen, but ultimately it will stabilize and a lot of companies will start doing it because users are going to prefer this more.
Right. Right, which brings me to the second part of our discussion is like from a fresher point of view, for a starter, or from somebody who's coming from a data science, which is myself, like, I'd been in the field of data science for a long time. So where is the intersection, of data science and blockchain? Is there any intersection, or do you think blockchain is going to overpower the buzz of data science?
Hmm. Uh, okay. So I'll clarify one thing first. See, data science by name itself is nothing without data, right? And Web3 is how data will be managed in a decentralized manner. So
Right.
definitely Web3 will have a huge impact on data science and how we deal with data, right? As a data scientist, how we deal with data, right? In
Right.
current scenario, when data is stored in centralized manner with any company, they have right to access uh, users' data, utilize for their own benefit. Data scientists, they utilize data to analysis and build models and products. But now in Web3 construct, data will be controlled by users. And data
Okay.
scientists or companies, they have to ask or pay users to access data, which might reduce the volume of data, I would say. So, for example, uh, if you ask me to share my location, live location, right, I might not
Okay.
give the permission. But as a data scientist, if you want to recommend something, it's very important to have your location, correct? If I want to
Okay.
recommend you merchants in your area, shops in your area where you can go and buy stuff, right? And if I
Right.
am not in Bangalore, rather I am in Kerala. So in that case, if you recommend me those shops which are in Bangalore, then it will not
Right.
be useful for me, right? And
Correct.
one of the problem which data scientists are going to face for sure, volume of data, and then again how they can make it more accurate for users. Right? So these all challenges that data scientists are going to face. Uh, ML models might not be able to cater all user persona because again, volume of data is very less. But the positive side of Web3 is data will be cleaner by the virtue of blockchain technology. Because in blockchain technology, traceability, transparency, these all things are there. No one can edit the data. So I'll give you an example. Let's say if you want to analyze a COVID-19 data set, and the data shared by, let's say, Delhi government or Bihar government, they might have rigged the death rate
Right.
or number of deaths. Right?
Absolutely.
That thing will not happen in blockchain technology, right? Where if your data is stored in a decentralized manner, that thing is not what is possible because your data is immutable. If something has happened and if it is logged, no one can change it,
Interesting.
right? In that case, your data will be cleaner, and definitely if your data is cleaner, that is again this is going to help you in building solid products. So in my opinion, it is going to be a trade-off of volume versus quality of data, which data scientists have to deal with. But then again, if I talk about prospects around data science, will data science will vanish because of Web3? No, because these two technologies will go hand in hand. Companies, they will need both data scientists and Web3 developers, right? It's seem like companies, they would need web developers or software developers along with data scientists right now. If not
Right.
data scientists, they will not be hired because now we have everything in Web3 or blockchain technology. Right.
That's a relief for all the data scientists out here. So, but again, I think using that example, I think very interesting. Had this been in reality, we would have known where our COVID relief fund that the government has might be utilized in a better way. And, we might have every information of every penny that was spent. So I think very interesting technology that is coming up. But again, there are a buffet of technologies that are upcoming along with Web3. There is MLOps, there is DevOps, there is cybersecurity and the security and big data side things. So again, which technology should I choose, or which technology should I start learning? And obviously it's a great confusion because every job portal you search, you might see a lot of exciting opportunities, great work, great salary, compensation, because with help of every technologies the companies are making great money. And they're also like saving a lot of huge amount of money. So my question to you is, for a fresher, for a starter, I might get confused. So how does one go ahead and decide which technology is best suited for me or for my scenario?
Okay, so if you talk about technology, rather I would discuss around the domain, right? Data science or MLOps or DevOps or Web3, what you should choose, right?
Right.
So what I'll start with this, that you should not get driven by salary. That is for sure, right? Because initially it might happen that because of demand and supply gap, your salary might be higher, but ultimately in your life, in your career, it will get saturated if you are not interested in that field. You have to upskill yourself no matter what, in which domain you're going to, right? So you have to really find your interest, and that itself will help you to grow in career. And technology is mostly evolving, so one tech will not be running throughout lifetime, right? So best way to decide, understand the technology, thinking whether it is something you would like to do for the rest of your life, to just understand like whether you are interested in this. And again, you once you explore this, and once you feel that this is what I want to pursue, rest everything will fall in place, right? That is where I want to start. But then again, if I want to discuss around how you should choose, right? So basically, DevOps and MLOps, I just want to keep it aside right now. Let's discuss around data science or Web3 technology, right? Because
Okay.
then again, what I feel, DevOps, MLOps, those are all part of data engineering, which is mostly lies in between these two, right?
Right.
Just segregate it to make it simpler. So data science and Web3 or web developments, what you should choose. So it's rather, I would say, a tricky question to answer, because ultimately it should be driven by interest, as I was mentioning. But most students or professionals I have discussed, they are not clear about their interest, right? And I feel career prospect is same for both uh, field, because companies are going to need both field, both employees they are going to need for their company's growth, right? Data scientists, you would need to do analysis, and all these web developers with Web3 technologies understanding, they are going to need to implement all these systems, right? So these,
Right.
if companies are going to need these two people, definitely there will be equal career opportunities. There will always be a demand of data scientist, and there will always be a demand of web developer with Web3 understanding, right? So when I talk about, let me just clear one more thing here. What is web development and Web3? That might create confusion here. So it's kind of like, if I want to draw analogy here, in data science, earlier when I started, right, it was very basic. When I started back in 2016 and 17, it was very basic. If you know linear regression, little bit about tree-based model, if you have understanding of XGBoost, then you are in a different league itself.
Right. Right.
And you have to be average in maybe coding Python and SQL, then you can easily get into any data science job, right? Then what happened, slowly companies, they started adopting machine learning algorithms more and more in their use cases, right? Then what happened, now you have to upskill yourself. It's not just about basic understanding of algorithms, you have to really get into the complex ones. Now, again, we see a lot of companies are now using deep learning technologies. Now, you have to learn that as well to become a data scientist. If you, even if you want to enter any data science field, you have to know a little bit about deep learning, little bit about deployment, because now companies, they have started using this very heavily in their own use cases.
Right. The production grade coding. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, if I want to draw parallel here in web development, so what is now, whatever stacks you have, Mern stack, MongoDB, React.js, Node.js, Express, all these things are for Web 2.0 technology, right? And these all web developers, they are working on it. And if they know, if they have the understanding of these Mern stack, they will be very well placed in any company. But let's say after 1 or 2 years, companies, they started adopting Web3 technology, blockchain technology. Now, all these web development, it's not like you don't have to understand MERN or Web 2.2 understanding. You don't have to understand about JavaScript. That you have to have, because that is fundamental, that you have to know. Similar to in data science, you have to understand the basic of Python and machine learning algorithm. Then only you will understand the deep learning one, neural networks and everything. Similar here, in web development, you have to first understand the MERN stack, the basic tech stack right now. On top of it, you will require to know the blockchain technologies as well. Right?
Okay.
That is what web development with Web3 is. Within 1 or 2 years, if we see there are a lot of companies they are going to adopt, definitely there will be a lot of demand from companies that I'm looking for these kind of people who have understanding of web blockchain technologies, right? So on top of web development, you should have that understanding too, that is going to give you leverage with those companies, right?
So can I assume that machine learning and deep learning, how you mentioned, like at that, when we started at 2017, XGBoost was something that you're out of league. So right now, if we draw comparison between machine learning and deep learning, that's exactly what web development and Web3 stack is
Yeah,
going to be.
yeah, yeah. That's my theory, and definitely, I think, yeah, I think that is going to be the case. Similar to deep learning, that happened with data science. When now, as a fresher, you have to understand a little bit about deep learning. Only then you will be asked a lot of questions, maybe in deep learning as well. If companies they are using it, and I see now almost 30 to 40% companies they have started using some sort of deep learning algorithms, right? So
Right.
in that case, definitely, as a fresher, if you want to join that team, you should have basic understanding at least. So similar to that, if I talk about web development, you should definitely have understanding of MERN stack, the basic of like not basic of, I'll say fundamental understanding of JavaScript, all these front end technologies, back end technologies. On top of it, you would require to know Web3 technologies as well, because companies they have started implementing those things. Right. That's
Right.
these two. Right.
Right. So AlmaBetter offers all of these different varied courses, like not just for machine learning, they also help you out with deep learning. And now we've started with web development. So out of so many tracks, if I want to start with, which AlmaBetter track should I, is best for me?
All right. Okay. So I think yes, I would like to answer. I would like to take this in a systematic manner. First, I'll discuss around, because see, again, I mentioned this. It's very tricky to answer this question.
Right. But
Again, it
but
should be driven by
you
interest. Right.
you coming from a founder point of view might have understanding of all these courses, and you might have thought there might be a proper structured thinking going on between why we should introduce these courses. So now, if you look at a starting point of a race,
Hmm.
which race should I go for? If you could help us understand that.
Definitely. So I would start with my first point. That is, in my life, time is limited, right? And how much you are going to leverage your existing or prior knowledge to get into this field, that you have to assess first. Like time is limited, how much extra time you have to invest in upskilling will depend on how much you can leverage your prior knowledge. For example, CS students, they have leverage with web development. They might have learned a lot of concept in college, which give them clear direction and better understanding their school curriculum, right? You might know about cloud services, you might already know about networking. All these things are going to give you a head start, right? And you will be more
Right.
comfortable in web development in that case if you're from CS background, right? So my point is, if you can leverage your prior knowledge, definitely that is going to be the program for you. Now, to make it more clear, let's say if you are from MBA, maths background, statistics background, or finance students, they have better leverage with data science, right? As they have prior understanding of statistics, or they have business understanding as well, right? So they will have more leverage with data science. So similar to that, like if any MBA guy, I am not saying that if any MBA person, if he wants to, if he's really interested in coding and he finds out that this is what I want to pursue, he should not go into this field, right? Because then again, if it's not interest, you will put extra time to learn that and you will be able to excel. But if I talk about the choice, if your scale is balanced, right? Then definitely that's a different thing to discuss. But if you see that your scale of prior knowledge is weighing to one program or one side of it, you should choose that, right? You should go through the curriculum for both data science and Web3 and look at what all things are there which you have already learned and you were interested in that, or you have that leverage of taking few leaps ahead, right?
Okay.
In that case, you don't have to put extra time or effort to learn that. So it's very just I want to give you this very clear understanding of, okay, I am from CS background and I love coding, I have interest in coding, then I should go ahead with web development program, right? That does not mean that you should not go with data science, right? That's a different thing to think about. But definitely you will be more better suited in web development. As a non-CS guy, maybe from MBA side, MBA person, MBA student, they will be more suited in data science side of it, right? But what happens, like, although there are students who are from non-CS background or even non-engineering background, if you look at both these curriculums, data science and Web3, and you look at your scale is balanced, right? You are not able to see that which side will weigh more.
More, yeah.
Right? In that case, you have to then introspect around few things. Right? First, I would mention your interest for programming. So I'll discuss around what will be the daily job of any web development I have seen, or web developer I have seen. So for web development, you have to be good with programming and lot more comfortable with coding, because your daily job will be writing codes, dealing with codes, managing codes. You will be all around coding, creating data pipelines, building apps for mobile or web, all these things. You know, daily during your maybe 10 hours of work, you will be dealing with code. uh, like that is what you are going to do on a daily basis. So you really have to love that. If you
Right.
are more interested in that, then definitely web development is going to be your side. For data scientists, it is going to be a mix of things. Let's say coding you are not that
Hmm.
good with. Coding will just be one tool which you are going to use in your day-to-day life as a data scientist, right? On top of it, you will understand business, do statistical analysis, understand user persona, you will play a lot with data, create charts and visualizations, present your findings. So all these things are there for a data scientist, right? So now you have to understand one thing is very clear here: how much you want to deep dive in coding, and how much your
Okay.
interest is there for coding, right? If you feel that I don't want to, I just want to use my just coding as a tool to create visualization and understand the business, do the analysis, then data science is your field. Otherwise, if you want to get deep into coding part of it, then this whole web3 is going to be your program. On
Right.
top
So
of
to
it,
summarize, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. I
yeah,
thought we
I
just
was, I
have
was
too
going to
much
discuss the
information.
next point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to discuss the next point, but yes, you can summarize here. But
Yeah, I think just before we go on the next point, like just to summarize, we've been bombarded with a lot of information, but I think the first thing that we should look at is what is our mindset. If it is, do we have a building or a discovery mindset? Because you mentioned for a data scientist, every day looks like, discovering or finding new insights to help business take better data-driven decisions. Now, say if I am somebody who aspires to make, say, YouTube one day, I want to create a website like YouTube, and I want to build every day. Like you also mentioned earlier, that there is something that I want to touch, I want to tangibly see. you know if that is what it is, then I understand that Web3 is my direction. And if there is something that if I have a discovery mindset and I want to just dig in more and understand why things happen in a way things happened, or why did girls love pink, or why do boys eventually just prefer t-shirts over, say, shirts. So in a way, if these are your intriguing questions, and this is what keeps and pops up in your mind every day, I think then data science or digging into data in the world of data would be a better option for you. Yeah.
definitely, I think, yeah, I agree here. You have, uh, like you have mentioned it very correctly, that if you want to ask a lot of why question, definitely you will need
Hmm.
to play with data, right? If you are that person, if you want to ask a lot of why question, why this is happening, why like user is behaving in this particular manner. You have to deep,
Yeah.
you have to analyze data. And if you have love for the data, definitely data science is going to be your field, right? If you want to build something, if you want to build a data pipeline and web apps and everything, then web development is going to be your side.
Right. So that's the basic crux. Now, looking at the skills or the entry barriers to these two fields. So you mentioned that if how much do you enjoy coding? You laid a lot of emphasis on the part where coding is involved. So I understand if do you like I have to think in a way that do I really love coding, or do I see it as a skill to drive the impact that we just discussed through data? So again, that is again my another layer of thinking that where should I exactly put myself into, right? And I think the third that you mentioned is irrespective of the salary, because you mentioned never look at the salary. But again, for me, salary, or for anybody who's starting, want to see भाई ज्यादा पैसे कहाँ मिलते हैं, है ना? So
Correct,
that
correct.
I would accordingly start learning. But again, as you mentioned, that right now in both the fields there is a demand supply gap. But as soon as this demand supply gap decreases, you are going to do something that is not your interest, but you are still doing it for the sake of money. So uh, it's always better to look into what interests you more, what gets you more every day you feel like getting up and doing your job, rather than just doing it for the sake of money. So I should not look at the demand supply right now in every technology, because interest is what matters more. And if I don't look at the interest, the technology changes more, more faster, I would say, as fast as, even if your interest might not change, the technology might be something else tomorrow. So I should not look at that, rather I should look at what technology and what value I could bring to the table. So I think these would be my three takeaways from your understanding of which track is best for me.
Right.
Yeah.
One more thing I would like to mention here, that is intrinsic personality trait. That also plays a lot of role in choosing between data science compared to Web3. Right? For a data scientist, you have to have an outward personality. You have to interact with a lot of people. Right? If you are someone who is comfortable around people and in the interaction, then data science will be suited for you. Like it's same as if you're not a good coder, rather if you're not interested in coding, it will be difficult for you to become a web developer. But you can become a good data scientist because on top of it, there are a lot of other things, analysis, which you can do, right? You just have to be average coder to become a data scientist, but you cannot be an average coder to become a good web developer or software developer, I would say, right? That's a personality.
Right.
Like you have, if you have an outward personality, if you are comfortable around people, then you should choose data science. Otherwise, definitely you should go ahead in the other direction. But here, I would say everything can be learned. See, everything can be learned. So if you think that you don't have an outward personality, maybe because you were not exposed in that environment.
Right. Exposure is the deciding factor everywhere.
Right. So in that case, see, you have to really look at your interest and weigh everything down. Like your coding interest, that is very vital thing to assess. Like if you want to get deeper into coding, then only you should choose web development. Otherwise, you should choose data science, I feel.
Right. So exposure decides interest. And if you are really interested, and if you think your personality also, adds a layer to it, the path. So I think overall, we understand that there are a lot of challenges to conquer in the Web3 world and to make it more human friendly. So for some people, it will be a very major argument to exclude such technologies from their life because a future might never come true or something, and they might be right. And for others, it's a huge opportunity to make this future like closer and take a benefit of it. I actually read a quote somewhere which happens to make sense now is pessimism sounds smart, but optimism makes money. So if you get mainstream, and if it goes mainstream, the technology, the future of internet, if it goes mainstream, you'll be glad that you actually started very early. So
Yes, what I feel, see, it's very intrinsic behavior. When you get comfortable with something, and if I want to take you out of that, you will start feeling irritating. You will not feel interested, and maybe you will start opposing that, right? So that's the thing.
Right.
If you see, if you are in technology roles, then definitely you have to be a constant learner, right? You have to be a avid learner that tomorrow technologies are going to change, languages are going to change, but the fundamentals, the coding aspect, or in data science, the statistics part and everything, if you really like that, then you should choose that program. And once you choose that program, try to upskill there, right? Don't just stick कि इतना हो गया, इतना आता है मेरे को और इसी पे मैं रहना चाहता हूँ, right? If you want to grow, rather I would say in any field, you have to upskill yourself. That's what I feel.
Right. Right. So, Alok, usually in our sessions, we keep, a chunk of our time to address a lot of Q&As that come up in these sessions. So, I would like to, if you could throw some light on few of our questions that we have here.
Hmm.
So, Pranjal asks us, what we will see at the giant corporation or banking sector having Web3? Will we see their transactions or where they'll keep all the records in case they keep the data in their private blockchain, like you discussed? Then how will it be different from centralized networking, which is a very great question, I think. You again mentioned that there is no controlling authority, but private blockchain, again, we had no access to it.
Hmm.
So even the private blockchain will be controlled by giant corporations at some point of time, which is already occurring in Web 2. So then what exactly is changing?
Okay.
I think great question, Pranjal.
Right. So yes, private blockchain versus public blockchain, that's a like theme of the question I see here. So what I'll say, see, what is private blockchain? So when I say that, okay, my data is stored in blockchain, then I have control to my data. Right now, you don't have control to the data, like wherever you are transacting, your bank is recording that. And if you don't want to share your transaction with your bank, that you don't have any access to, right? You don't have that power right now. Correct. So whatever transaction you are going to do, they can access it, they can build products on top of it. In private blockchain, although this blockchain or this whole decentralized system will be controlled by the company, but then again, they cannot access your data first if you do not give the permission.
Okay.
Right? So they
Okay.
will need your permission, your key to access any data you want to share. Right? If you do not give the permission, they cannot fetch data from that blockchain or from the database. That's like as simplified manner, if I can explain it. Let me just hope
Correct.
I missed something here. Even the will be controlled by. Hmm. So that is what it is. Like even companies, they cannot access your data if you are not giving permission to them. So that thing you are going to get the facility to control your data. That is what private blockchain is going to give you.
Got it.
And it is not.
So,
And one more thing I'd like to hear, like to add, it's not like private blockchain. It is being owned by them, and it's just a mask. They can access everything. If something lies in blockchain, then there is a whole protocol around it. It's not like they can just go there and access your data. No one can access it. Only you can access your data unless you give the permission. No one can access, even if it's lying in their own computers, in their own servers. There is a hashing and security system that has been implemented by the virtue of this whole blockchain technology. Even they cannot just go there and fetch the data, even if you have not given them permission.
right. So, we safely assume that it is a slice of internet or a slice of data that only you control and you give the control to others if you want to.
Right. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. So we have next question from Pavan. Hey, I'm not sure if this question is already answered or not. Can you please let me know which has better prospects, web development or data science? I think we did cover this part in the end. That of course, both has better prospects, and it all depends on what you are more inclined towards and what does your interest or passion lead you to. Yeah.
Right. So
Other,
I
of course, other than the points. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Siba has already mentioned there. Both have high future opportunities, and both has, like, I think both the program and as a web developer or as a data scientist, you both have like same career growth. I think both have high career growth. So it's not like you should differentiate in those terms. That's why I mentioned like it's very difficult to, it's tricky to answer, because again it lies in your interest. It should like you should understand yourself, like which program to cater, like which program to choose based on the interest you have, because rest everything is going to be same. Career prospect, growth opportunities, everything is going to be same for these two programs, these two
Makes
field
sense.
domains.
Right. So I think we have a lot of questions in the Q&A section where people are talking about what is the level of solidity in your course. Is there some other coding language than solidity for Web3 domain?
Yeah, we have added that. We have Solidity for our Web3 course. You can go ahead and check out. See, that's a famous or like most used tool right now. You cannot choose, you
Correct.
can teach everything. So you can imagine we have chose for web development, initial part of it for front end and back end, we have chose MERN stack. But there are other stacks as well. If we go ahead and teach each like everything, then it will be difficult to complete, right? It's like you master one thing and then you understand the concept, and then you can translate all your learnings for in different coding languages. If something changes, you will be able to cater that because you have that fundamental understanding clear.
Right. So Jay asks, why not blockchain developer course? There is almost no competition right now.
Okay, so see,
What do you?
yeah, AlmaBetter, we have this philosophy that we want to empower freshers, right? And if we want to keep just blockchain technology, and if you don't have understanding of Web 2.0 technologies like MERN stack I was talking about, it will be very difficult to grasp. It's like just half knowledge you are going to get, and you cannot become a good developer. Right now, if you want to get into a job, you don't have to just go through blockchain technology, you will be hired, right? It is going to take some time to come in market and this whole domain to become famous, just blockchain technologies. But to understand blockchain, you have to have understanding of front end, back end, system design, a JavaScript language as a base, that you have to have. So that's why from a fresher perspective, we have kept this. Initially, we will cover for 4 modules the current scenario, and then in the last module, we will get into the blockchain technologies.
Okay, cool. So I understand. So Dhruv asks, like, I might be immigrating to Canada this year, still after completing course at AlmaBetter, which will AlmaBetter help to get a place in Canada? Um, Interesting
This
question. Alok, would you
question,
want to
I
answer?
think we are going to get global. Uh, Definitely, we are going to help you out. Job assistance, resume building, these all things we are going to provide you. Job guarantee, that we need to discuss on, because pretty soon we are going to go global as well, right? So it's like it's just a wait of 5-6 months when you will be provided placement guarantee if you want to go in different country apart from India. But yes, if you are in India, we give placement guarantee if you come in our LMIX program. But if you're out of India, then you have to wait for some time to get the placement guarantee program. Placement assistance, everything you are going to get: mock interviews, like connecting with mentors, job, resume building, everything you are going to get. And interestingly, Ekta is one of our career coach. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nishant asks, my question is as follows. I have completed MCA in 2015 and currently I'm a freelancer from 2.5 years. So am I eligible for the course, and is job placement guaranteed? What will be the fee structure and all of those things? So I think
Hmm.
if you
I
could
think
address
fee
this.
structure, everything that I don't want to discuss right now, right?
Yeah,
That you
of
will
course.
definitely find on the website. But if you have done MCA, if you are doing freelancing, you must have understanding of a lot of projects. What skill set you have, basis that definitely you will get the job. So what we have done, we have a network of more than 200, 300 hiring partners now. Companies who are directly asking us, sending us JD and like asking us for resumes, right? Asking us for the profiles. So in that case, we have clearly mentioned them. Please assess any student based on their skill, not because of their past, right? If someone is able to code or do a good analysis in data science, and if he's not from engineering background, what's the matter, right? no, like you can, no one has done MS in data science. Like it has started now, but none of us has like any course during our college days. It was basic statistics and everything, but specifically machine learning and everything, that was not there. So every one of us, like we have learned this whole data science and we acquired that skill, and that's why we are eligible for job. So that's what we tell our companies, that okay, whenever you are looking at resume, don't look for like if it is from IITs or NITs, otherwise I'm going to reject. Rather look at the projects he has done, rather what skill he has, and that's how you will decide. Even if you have done for 2.5 years of gap, if you want to consider, if you have done good freelancing project, include that in your resume, and that is going to sign on your resume, and definitely you will get the job.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of data science for that matter, that, irrespective of the number of years you are in a field, say a 5 year data scientist, a 5 year experienced data scientist might be just doing quick EDAs and analyzing data and creating visualization around it. And there might be 2 year, 3 year data scientists who might have actually worked a huge lot on deploying the models in the production environment. So there is no formal background to it, and B, there is no formal experience attached to it. It's a huge field, it's a vast field with different domains in it, in its the bigger umbrella. And I would say that, irrespective of any background, irrespective of anything, it's the skills, it's the work that you showcase, it's the value that you get on the table that might be assessed, not where you come from or what you do.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think we have another question, Alok, where can a BCom graduate apply for data science who is having 4 years experience in outsourcing company? Like, uh, all of again, same question. I think let me just take this up. Irrespective of the background, irrespective of the domain that you were earlier, I would say, it's more about what is your current interest, where are you working upon, where can you add value, and to add a layer around it, what is the skill set that you are accompanying it with. So what's your armor? If that is something that you are clear with, I think you do a 360-degree change in your career. You just take, a U-turn from your career, irrespective of the number of years you've invested in anyone. I think you're good to go.
Sure.
And
One very
yeah,
interesting thing I see here, if anyone, like it has been asked by Udit, if anyone has no skill set of coding and technology, how to survive in coming techno-friendly world? Okay. So it's a very interesting concept, because see, even lot of people are there who are not comfortable with coding. Let's say someone who is working in operations, right? And operations, that domain is as valuable to any company compared to technology or data science or anything, right? So it does not mean that they are going to go obsolete. Now, technology does not mean everything is going to get complex, right? Technology means everything will become simpler. So you will see now there are a lot of no code coding platforms or low code platforms where you can build your app just by drag and drop. You can do analysis
right.
just by doing drag and drop, right? But I would suggest definitely these are going to help you. But in these time, you should understand a little bit about coding as well. You don't have to be perfect in it. You don't have to be best in it or even good at it. If you are average, definitely that is going to help you a lot. Even you are in any field, that is going to help you.
Right. So I think we have pretty much covered. I think, Alok, one open question from everyone would be for you is, you've mentioned that if you are from computer science background and you might have coding experience, what about folks who have no experience in, like I understand that there are low code tools and all of those things, but again, if I want to develop understanding of coding, where do I start from? Like, what are the basic chunks?
Hmm.
If you
Okay.
could just briefly let us know.
Yes. So this, I think, again, I would suggest, yes, you should, if you want to just explore whether I like coding or not, right? There are a lot of platforms where you can just start from basic, right? Just like, I'll give an example of HackerRank. You can just go there and practice a lot of questions in whatever language you want to choose. Maybe I would say, see, the complexity of language also matters, right? So Python is very easy language, right? That's why a lot of data scientists, they are using Python. JavaScript is a little bit more complex compared to Python, and it has more functionality. It has more, utility towards the web development. So you have to really check. Just try 1 or 2 days, 3 days in Python, maybe whether you like it more or not, or you can just go ahead. There are multiple choices there. You can go ahead and uh, try to solve few questions around JavaScript if you like that programming language. But I would suggest, if you cannot scale it, like whether which field to go, then it's better to explore, and it's better to try out these two. Like just go ahead and try to solve few questions on JavaScript, whether that you are able to understand clearly, or that is more easier to you for you to understand. And also try Python as well. If you are more comfortable with Python, you can go ahead with that, and then eventually you can become a data scientist. So that's what I would say.
Right.
You can use any platform like HackerRank and go there and start practicing. So just give 1 week
So,
and you will good to go. Yeah.
so you're saying that the basic of coding is something that I should look at and not the competitive coding, or the the data structures that should
Hmm.
decide whether I'm interested or not. That would be something very high level that we are achieving for ourselves.
Right, right.
So,
Data structures and algorithms that you can study irrespective of language, right? It's not like you in Python also you can code any dynamic program question, right? That I'm talking about
right,
around algorithms and data structures that you can do in any language. That is irrespective of that. That is logic, how you code anything, right? How you code any problem statement. That is the logic part of it. But before that, you have to understand like whether you are comfortable with the language, right?
right,
That this language interests you. So that is what, like when I started, I found out that Python is more suited for you because I wanted to go more on business understanding, to understand, to analyze stuff, compared to go deeper in coding. So Python gives you that. It has all the wrappers. You don't have to go and code everything. You have a lot of good packages which you can use and manipulate your data, and that itself will be like enough for you. But as a web developer,
right,
you have to be more into it. You have to understand, okay, maybe I need to do more customization, I need to do more changes. Let's say if you are building a web development, then you will need something which is like which has more customization capability. And in that case, I think JavaScript is going to be well suited for me. So that is what I'm saying.
correct, right, right. So I think in interest of time, Alok, if I had to summarize and understand, so I think overall everyone should be smart and think over the the discussion that we had today. Like, do not go basis on what people are talking. I think those are my final words. Like, what's the new trend, or what's the job prospect, salaries, work life balance? No one else should be deciding that for you. But the technology keeps changing, so you need to prep yourself, you need to upskill yourself. So if you don't like something, you won't be able to enjoy and continue for long, because trends change, right? So I think the final words would be: think over it and understand what suits your interest and what lies in your domain. And I think that's that from my end. Anything that you would like to add, Alok, as final advice for our learners here?
Definitely. So I would say, guys, be smart. As Ekta mentioned, think or research before you choose anything. Don't go basis on what people are talking about and what's the new trend. If you don't like something, you don't have, and if you won't be able to enjoy or continue for long, right? Because trends will change sooner than interest, right? So research about both fields and curriculum. And if you find anyone interesting, make sure you give some time to it. Don't give up easily, because again, as I was talking about, if you come out of your comfort zone, there will always be a discomfort, and you have to get your mind trained by pushing yourself and giving some time to it. So that's it. Like always understand that technology may change, but prep yourself that you will upskill according to the industry. Whether you are in data science or in web development, in whichever field you are going to be in, you have to constantly upskill yourself. Like, so
Right,
keep learning. That's my final 2 words.
right. Thank you for adding your 2 cents here. I think thank you everyone for joining in. I think, and thank you so much for the most interesting questions we've come across. And do let us know if you learned something new today, and feel free to drop in your messages. You could reach out to Alok on LinkedIn, and of course, there are a lot of I would say information on the AlmaBetter website to help you take a decision better. And we have a lot of program advisors with us, joined Shiba, and many such that might help you take a better decision for you in your one-on-one case. So happy Saturday. I think that's pretty much it from our end. Good day. Bye bye.
Good day. Thank you everyone for joining in. Take care.
Thank you. Thank
Enjoy.
you, Alok.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.